My role within the Scottish FA is the Disability Development Officer, which pretty much just means that any football within Scotland to do with disabled athletes and disabled players kind of comes under my remit. So from international football all the way to getting young kids an opportunity to kick a ball, have fun with friends, have fun within a club environment. Basically just anything to do with football and disability athletes it comes under my job and is under my remit.
How did you get involved in that?
It's been a number of years now that I've been involved within this programme, and my predecessor Stuart Sharp took over the role in 6 years when the Scottish FA decided that disability football was an aspect that we should be taking part in. And probably since then I've been doing bits and pieces along with Stuart with the 2010 European Championships with CP Israel, with the Learning Disability Under-19 national squad, as well as some participation centres that the Scottish FA run, and managing them. So when Stuart left the association in December of 2011, it was a kind of natural step for me to move into his role and to take on that reins and trying to push the sport further forward.
Could you just maybe tell us a bit about the SFA's disability programme and what the aims of that are?
Yeah, well, the disability programme kind of kicked in, as I said, 6 years ago when Stuart Sharp took over, but now we've kind of just launched our 5-year plan, the Scotland United Scottish Football's Disability Future, which launched this year. It's going to run from 2012 to 2017, and the main kind of cusps of that is to allow any player with a disability to reach their full potential. Now that might mean that they reach their full potential by playing within the local authority, playing within a grassroots club, or their full potential might be representing Scotland at a World Championships or a Home Nations Championship, depending on their disability. So that's really what the main cusps of the programme is and what we want to achieve within the Scottish FA.
And if people want to get involved, do you think it's something good for them? How can you do that?
Well, we've seen with the Paralympics in the last 2 weeks and the amount of exposure that disability sports had, it doesn't really matter what disability you have, where you come from, what you do, what you think you can achieve. There is an opportunity for anybody out there. All they need to do is just contact the Scottish FA or contact the local football development officer, and there is plenty of things that's happening. Might not be fully under the SFA's programme, but it's one of our key partners that we work with, charities, Scottish Disability Sport, who have got programmes out there. Now again, football might not be their sport, but they might have the potential to move into football, or they might have the abilities to move into another sport, as in athletics, swimming, cycling, that we've seen in the Paralympics shown great achievements.
And have you seen in your years working within your various roles an increase in interest in disability sport and football?
Yeah, within disability sport, probably in the last 5 years there's been a huge interest, and especially in football through the kind of work that the international teams have done in the last few years, but probably in the last 6 months with the Paralympics it's really started to really move forward. More people are starting to see that it's not the disability that counts, it's the ability of what really counts and what people can do and what they can fully achieve. And I think that probably the inspirational stories that we've seen over the last few weeks has really brought things to home, that disability sport is something that needs to be given more exposure to, and something that can really develop the country as a whole.
You've mentioned the Paralympics and the spotlight that's put on disabled athletes and what they can achieve. Do you think this is really going to be the stepping stone, if you like, to encouraging a new raft of youngsters?
Well, we hope so. Now, the biggest challenge for me is to make sure that the kind of positive messages that's been going on in the last 6 months doesn't fall behind, that club coaches and school teachers and universities and colleges and just the general public are aware of that disability sport does take place in Scotland, that it's not just a GB level, that we have got things for Scotland with a cerebral palsy team who next year take part in Intercontinental Championships. Now we're currently ranked 7th in the world, so it's one of the Scottish teams that seem to be doing very well on a world stage, competing with the best teams in the world. So that's the opportunities that we have. We do fight quite high on the international level, and to make sure that legacy continues and that the youngsters come through. Now, whether they've got cerebral palsy or learning disability, deaf, blind, there is opportunities with them within the Scottish FA to progress. Might not to international football, but they can at least get a kick of the ball and reach their full potential.
Would you say that these players' abilities and every level of the sport is taken more seriously now than maybe it was in the past?
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people felt sometimes that disability sport is just something that is nice to do, but now we can really see that the athletes and the participants that are taking place are achieving excellence within this. They are elite performers. Now, part of that is through the more professionalism that's came through within disability sport, the more members of staff, the more finance, the more resources that's going towards that. Now, part of us in the Scottish FA isn't just going towards an international sport, it's making sure that every child in Scotland has the opportunity to play the game. Now, it's the greatest game in the world, it's the national sport. Now, it's a shame that if we don't have a child an opportunity to have a chance of kicking a ball with friends, with parents, and just having that fun of what football brings to them.
Obviously, you're really experienced in this field and you have a hand in all levels, what you said, the policy team, the programme implementation. So what are your hopes, not only for your teams, but for the programme and its progression?
Obviously, for the teams that we want to try and compete with the top classes in the world in terms of cerebral palsy. Ukraine, the Paralympic champions and European and world champions Russia are obviously somebody that we're looking to try and achieve. Now, that's going to be a very difficult road, but with the commitment through the coaches, the kind of aspirations of the players, we've got an opportunity to really challenge the top countries in the world. But for me, the international programme's a very small part of what we do. My main aim and my main hope and my role in this within the association is to allow every child, every player to reach their full potential. As I said, that might be kicking a ball at five-a-sides with a group of friends, or it might be playing international football. Full potential is what we want to achieve, and if we can put the kind of stepping stones in place that's already there, then we can ensure that that's a kind of target that we will achieve within the Scottish FA.